What's up, everybody? Justin and Sisco back here again. We're gonna go with another My 2 cents video today. I mean, I could give you all the research I've done, but I'm waiting because I'm trying to do something right by that research. But I had a big old long thing written out. I was gonna get into that today too. My printer's out of ink, so I couldn't print it out. Oh well. So we're just gonna cover a few things in the news and give you my 2 cents about it. Cisco go give you his 2 cents. And if y'all can't handle them 4 cents, then y'all don't make sense. Sounded good, right? So anyway, let's kick it off. Over in France, people are getting locked up 6 months for not getting vaccinated. Isn't that kind of funny? I thought, people had a right as to what they put in their body.
Informed consent, according to the Geneva Convention. Little history lesson. The Geneva Convention happened because of what happened to a certain subsection of Germany back in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
FYI.
But in any case, they're doing it there. And as you can see, things are getting worse here. What do you think is going to happen? 1 + 1 = 2 here, people.
Look.
And think about it, because that's a lot of people that are going to lock up in France. But think about what they did here. Simon Properties owns the majority of the mall space in the United States. They made a deal with the government to turn said malls that are not really being used anymore into disaster camps. Let that sink in, right, with what France is doing. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but all I'm saying is it's a good possibility.
Oh man, come on. Alright, brass tacks, people. If you think it can't happen here, it already has. What do you think we call reservations? That's one. Let's talk about
That's a good point.
Let's talk about the Japanese in World War II. Let's talk about Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, and the mega cities.
SARS 2025. Yeah, well,
People,
I mean, they are really hurting everybody into the cities.
People, you really need to wake up, turn the boob tube off, and pick up some actual history books. There's a building. And I know there used to be a lot of them, and they've been shutting down a little bit. But there's a building that every city has multiple of, that your taxpayer dollars pay for, by the way. It's called the public library.
Oh yeah, they're a wealth of knowledge. But I bet you most people don't know how to use a card. Kind of like to find the books.
In the public library, they have these things called public records. So that if you don't feel like listening to what somebody else wrote and taking their information, you can actually do the actual research yourself.
Well, let's be real about it, though, Cisco. Look what they did to America by giving us everything at our fingertips with our phone. Hey, how many people are really going to go to the library?
Look.
Go onto your library online, do it that way.
Either way. Stop getting your news handed to you by somebody else.
By Brian Stelter.
That's first and foremost. Secondly, get locally active.
We have to.
You have no choice, because if
Stop buying from big box.
If you don't get locally active, and if you don't start
supporting your own little neighborhoods,
your own local neighborhood stores, they're gone. Mm-hmm. Most of them already are, thanks to this lockdown. Now, that brings me to my second point. The lockdowns.
Think they're gone.
The lockdowns.
Temporarily, maybe.
And the experimental jab or bee sting or whatever you want to call it, except for a vaccine. Because this thing is not a vaccine. Secondly, on that note,
got him.
You can Google this. This vaccine, which has not even been out a full year yet, has already killed more people than all other vaccines combined, making it the most deadly pharmaceutical product outside of the ODs from the heroin derivatives.
Fentanyl. Yeah.
Making it the most deadly concoction on the planet because it's not a vax.
Well, they said it's not. I mean,
And
really,
it's not really a concoction because we're talking about 98% graphene oxide.
Yep. But in any case, a vaccine would have a part of the dead virus in it.
Now, if you guys don't think that this thing's got graphene oxide in it, I suggest that you guys go and do your research. Look into a lady named Dr. Jane Ruby. 1. 2. There's a group of doctors in South America that are doing research on these vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that discovered the graphene oxide. And just so you know that there is graphene oxide in it, because they did a whole lot of trying to
Google ain't gonna be there.
spin
You
and,
have to go
and
somewhere else to
damage
find
control last week with this. I'm sure y'all noticed in the news how they were continuously saying that there was none of this in there. Well, let's play devil's advocate. And let's say that there is no graphene oxide. Okay, now we know there is, but let's just, for argument's sake, say that there is none. Okay? Still a little thing called informed consent. And how can you be informed if there's nothing on the insert? If the insert is blank...
At the end of the day, what's going to stop them from lying to you anyway?
Then how are you informed? Well, and that's besides the point. Again, the insert is blank. They won't tell you what's in it. Therefore, you are not informed.
But it's okay, It's
and they're
not
talking
gonna hurt
about
you.
and they're talking about mandating this.
Yeah, that's on my thing too. New York City just said no way on that.
Oh.
But that don't mean it's not going to pass somewhere else. It's going through all the courts at once. It's in every state. It's in the federal government. You can look it up. It's there. I was just looking it up before I came and started filming. But yeah, almost every state has a Vax Pass bill that's about to be brought up, or it's in the beginning. In this, it's in the workings.
For the lols of the week. On that note,
oh wait,
I'll take what pop group, and yeah, I'm gonna call them a pop group because they're not a rock group. What pop group recently decided that they wanted to have a concert, but only the vaccinated could attend?
But didn't they end up with COVID too?
Only to cancel because of COVID.
But wait, what about them Democrats that tried to jump and leave Shipley, Texas? Didn't they come down with COVID too?
I think they did. But I
hold
think
on,
at least 4 of them did.
Hold on a second. They were vaccinated, right?
Yes, I do believe so.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wait. What was that statistic you cited earlier? We were talking on your porch and you said...
60% of the people inside the hospital right now with COVID are vaccinated? Yeah.
Double vaxxed or single vaxxed, whatever.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make here, guys. If the shit's a vaccine, why are we still getting it? Think about it. Kamala knee pads Harris is fully vaccinated. That bitch was on a plane. Why is she in quarantine if she's fully fucking vaccinated?
My question, again, on this note, is they're saying that the unvaccinated are the pandemic now, the problem now.
That sounds backwards if you ask me.
But it's the vaccinated that are being hospitalized with this shit.
Yeah. Look, that's about right. I mean, hey, look. This is the way of our government. I mean, I guess it has to be forward thinking. I meant backward thinking. I meant head up their ass more like it.
I don't understand. And you can hold that because I'm good. I'm feeling quite
froggy.
Yeah, quite literally a little open right now. A little more relaxed than I should be.
Well, you're around family, man.
Look, this, they told you, get vaccinated and everything will go back to normal, right? Only to, like Lucy with the football, okay? Okay, Charlie? No field goal for you. And guess what? They're going to do that again and again and again. Why?
See, I don't think it'll go past the second time. Though.
No. They're going to. Why? Why? Because y'all will keep letting them.
I don't think it will. I think too many people have seen how much problems this shit caused.
Yeah. You know what?
I would hope
You're
not.
ever the optimist.
I try to be, man.
And honestly, after dealing with this shit for, almost 20 years, following all this, like, closely, I'm a little bit of a pessimist. I'm just this side of black pilled.
Well,
now,
look, it's
now
like
I
this.
will-
It's like this, though. We as people can only be pushed so far before we fight back.
Yeah.
So what do you think's going to happen this time?
Well, they know
You
this.
know, they got about half the population ready to go at them now. And when they do this a second time, that's going to go to 2/3 of the population.
Well,
3/4 of the population.
They're counting on at least a third of America wanting to.
Secede from the nation?
Yeah. Now, that's why they have 1 billion hollow point rounds and UN troops, and why our government has sold us out to China and other foreign.
Well, no. They sold us out to the UN and the controlling families of the UN.
Right.
Because think about it. Because look, George Soros and Dickhead Gates just bought the UK testing manufacturer, which goes back to your last point and shit. But so you guys ready to see an explosion of COVID? Because that's what's gonna fucking happen. You think it won't? These guys are crookeder than a fucking $3 bill. You already know the agenda these people have. What makes you think that that's a good idea? What makes you think you can believe it anymore?
Now look, the Dow Industrial or the Dow Jones yesterday took one
major
hell of a hit, and it's going to continue to take hits.
Yep.
Now,
Well,
I
yeah.
want to extend an invitation to the nation to engage in massive non-compliance. What does that mean? Does that mean get violent? No.
No, because
It means
we're not
massive non-compliance. That means across the board. That means if you don't feel like going to work that day, hell, you want to quit because they decided that they wanted to make people get vaccinated or wear a mask or whatever form of tyranny they're trying to bring at you, don't comply. Just don't comply.
That's a lot easier said than done because people need their jobs.
I get this. But do they? Let me ask you a question.
It keeps a roof over my family's head. I can't just up and do that.
Let me ask you a question. Did the government give two fucks about the people every single time it shut itself down?
I get that. But if I stop working, I can't afford my house.
I get that. But when I say massive non-compliance, I mean everybody across the board.
But that's what you're going to run into is what I just said.
I get that. I get that. But,
So I
but
can't
here's-
jeopardize my family at this point. I mean, we're still trying to prep and shit like that. Nah.
I get that, but here's the alternative. The alternative is people continue doing what they're doing, and these people continue doing what they're doing. See, the second that people start to wake up and start to move towards freedom, these people hit us with another.
How we going to get there? We need financial freedom, not debt. That ain't freedom.
And that is why people need to understand what real money is.
Yeah. Because
It's not the dollar bills in your wallet. It's not the stemmies. That's not real. That's
But
not
if
real
you
money.
were smart, you would take that, get into real money.
Real
Real money
money-
is something that can't be tracked.
Real money has always been and will always be gold and silver.
Everything else
And
is just a
precious
currency.
gemstones, precious metals, commodities. Real money has always been commodities. It has never been a piece of paper. It has always been commodities.
Well, that's not true. When the paper had the gold behind it, it was as good as gold. But see, that's why
But
Nixon
even
didn't like it, because it limited government spending. You could only spend as much gold as you had.
exactly.
So no, let's make this fiat. Fucked in America times 10 currency.
So understand what real money is. Start moving towards real money. Start moving your assets towards
Especially
real money.
now, because silver hit a low price today. It's down to $25 an ounce. Gold went up, platinum went down, palladium went up.
What was that called? The super silver squeeze that the bump stocks or whatever were doing last year?
Yeah, but see, they don't understand.
They don't. Yeah, you can't just buy silver short term. If you buy silver, you need to buy it physically and hold it.
And I feel bad for all these people that bought the paper silver, the futures,
Oh my lord.
because there's not going to be enough silver to go around. You got to realize they sold each ounce of silver like 4 or 5 times. But one thing for sure, two things for certain, I didn't buy paper.
People, I don't know enough about crypto to tell you anything about it.
It's
Really.
like, yeah,
All
you
I
just
can,
have to be on top of it, bro, because you got to move it with the tides of the market. That's what I can tell you about crypto.
all I can tell you though is the establishment does not like crypto.
Because they can't regulate it. Why do you think they're coming out with their own digital coins?
So I can tell you that. It's not financial advice, but I can tell you they don't like crypto and they definitely do not like gold, people who own gold and silver.
Well, I mean, they confiscated gold before when they started the Federal Reserve, I believe, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It was Roosevelt, I think.
Now,
Don't quote me on that, because I'm not 100% certain. I gotta.
Now, another thing people need to understand is people need to go back, take themselves back into the books and restudy history, and not from the history books that you got in school because they lied to you. Y'all really need to dig into the history and understand that the Nazis never lost World War II. They lost on paper.
They pushed their agenda through.
They lost on paper, and yeah, Germany took a hit, but the Nazis, the actual Nazis, they survived. They came over here. You were lied to.
They didn't come over. We brought them over.
Exactly.
We said, you know what? We like you so much, guys. You can ruin our country in 50 years.
Your government's been lying to you for quite some time. That is what they do.
And you guys can find all
And
this out, because all you gotta do is look at
several
all
presidents-
the
Several outgoing presidents have warned us, and we failed to heed the warning. Our parents failed to heed the warning. By the time our generation got here, it had already been well established with the route that they were headed, and we were none the wiser. Just like now, they're trying to push CRT on our kids. You can't let
I'm
it.
not having a part of it. Not
You
at
can't
all.
let that happen. You think it's an uphill battle to wake up now? Imagine what they're gonna have to go
Yeah,
through.
your kids will hate America, and they will hate you if you like America. They're gonna be indoctrinated to feel white guilt, which nobody should feel guilt for who they are. That's not right on so many different levels. But I don't know. I can't even fathom even thinking that way. It makes me feel retarded. It's backwards. You know, if anything, we should be teaching everybody to be proud, right? Be proud of who you are. Because I know, yeah, I may have made mistakes and been through some regrettable times. But I'm proud of the man I am now. I'm a stand-up guy. I work hard for what I got, and I support who I have to. And I work hard at what I do. Just to get not noticed and pushed to the side anyway. But it's not for my job that I work so hard. It's my family.
It should anger anybody who was born in this country before, say, 1990.
I'd say maybe closer to 2000.
It should anger anybody that your country, your birthright, your kid's future has been stolen from you in the form of a stolen election, and they're still
Well,
stealing.
don't even get into it. They're stealing in other ways than that.
They're
They're
still
putting them so far in debt, they're not even going to know what to do when they get adulthood.
like
You know, election aside, they're fucking our youth up.
I get that a lot of people are extremely busy. They can't follow this as closely as they would want to or they should.
Yeah, it should definitely be something that you keep up with. I mean, it's your future. It's your kid's future. You know, as a real parent, you want your kids to have better than what you had. That's why, you know, you work for it. That's why you take them on vacations that you didn't have when you were growing up. That's why you do things that you didn't do when you were growing up. Because you work that hard so you can do things like that. To give them the memories, so you have the memories.
You should be listening to that little thing in the back of your mind that says, "Hey, why does the world seem like it's upside down lately? Like the bad guys are doing good and the good guys are doing bad." You need to understand that
We're ran by bad people.
they're very, very bad people sit at the heads of a lot of the power structure, and
The
right
Orsini
now
family, the Soroses.
and right now they are trying to consolidate said powers so that you
Well,
and
no.
your progeny will have no choice but to live in whatever kind of hell they deem that they want for you.
They're trying to get
They are
a low population so they can fucking have all the resources and control way easier.
That's exactly what it is. They stole this world.
And then they want to be alive forever, so they're gonna try to put their consciousness into fucking robots and shit.
They
You can say I'm crazy all you fucking want, but they're already doing Neuralink, so you can go yourself on that one.
They stole this world through fraud. The majority of it. Not through conquering, through fraud, manipulation, and lies.
Propaganda.
And now, in order to cover up their crimes, they are willing to kill off the majority of the population.
Well, that's because they
And
have to.
I know it sounds like
Because-
like a sci-fi dystopic film out of Hollywood, but
1984.
this is happening, and you really need to look into it. This is happening, regardless
True
of
shit.
whether you like it or not, regardless of whether or not you want to admit it. This is happening
Yeah. Yep.
every day. It's happening.
We're losing more and more of our rights.
more and more every day.
And
The
now
good
they
cops-
okayed UBI now in California.
The good cops are stepping down. The Gestapos, the brown shirts are stepping in. And you're watching it happen. You're watching big cities burn. And newsflash, these big cities that are burning right now, they want to stick you and your family in them. They want you and your family stuck in these big cities. They don't want you in a family dwelling. They don't want you having
They
property.
want multi-generation dwelling.
They want to stick you in a shoebox in a major city. This is part of their agenda. You should look into it.
Yeah, it's easier to control. And, you know, like I said from day one, it's easier to conquer a nation that's divided. We're divided in you know, racially. We're divided politically. We're divided straight, non-straight. You know, we're it's alarming to see how divided we are as a country. I mean, we all live the same place. We got to find some common ground and move forward. I mean, it's not right. It's just not right.
Another curiosity. When I was coming up, rich men had Lear jets and yachts.
Yeah.
Now it's spaceships. and we're sending Noah's Arks to the moon.
Well,
We're
that
having
just shows you the fucking
we're having seed arcs put away in the glaciers.
the balance of wealth is way tipped in one direction. If they can afford to build the fucking spaceship and test, several hundred of them, or whatever the case, they test more than one.
That's not even what I was getting at.
Well, I'm getting the financials.
I was getting more towards the fact of, what do they know that they don't want to tell you? Why is it that they feel that they need to get every species and specimens from every species on the planet into a vault? And why is it that now they're all deciding that they want to go to space and they all want to colonize the moon and they want to colonize Mars? And it's for the wealthy. It's not going to be for you and me.
Oh no.
So
either way, we'll be subservient to them.
So, what are they telling you? What are they telling us? What are they telling
aren't
me?
they telling you?
Exactly. What aren't they telling you? But more importantly,
what aren't they telling you?
but more importantly, what are they telling you? By what they're not telling you.
Yeah, unspoken words. Man. Anyway, like I was talking about the financials of things, right? Well, Biden's global tax is one step closer as well. How do you feel about paying taxes for them people, say in China? Think about that. You're going to pay for another country?
Well, yeah, that was part of the Paris climate accords that he got us back into.
Yeah.
It's called a carbon tax. It's called...
Well, no, that's something different. The carbon tax is something different.
It's called they want to tax you to breathe.
Yeah, well, it's called the death of America.
Speaking of insanity, how about the insanity coming out of Australia? They had their health minister come out today talking about people need to not talk. I'm not kidding. I know, that sounds like it's out of the onion. But how about that?
Sounds like he's out of his asshole.
I was like, what? You're telling people not to talk to... So everyone's going to all of a sudden now have to wear a mask and learn sign language.
Well, see, that's the problem. I'm illiterate when it comes to sign language and Braille, so the only communication I got is my mouth. Sorry, gonna use it.
Australian health minister. Sign language.
I can read between them lines. I think you said, fuck you. That one I know. But, I got one more thing on my plate here to talk about. And I know you gotta like this one. It's Biden's population replacement. Flying illegals around the world and giving them money to live in the United States. Illegal immigrants. So basically, you're allowing the takeover of our nation, Mr. Biden? But you're not my president when you're doing dumbass shit like that. So once again, Mr. Biden, are you being treasonous? Because if so, lawmakers, get his fucking ass. And if you can't, stop being a bitch about it and step down that. We'll get people that need that'll do it. People that got the balls to do it.
Speaking of that, we're talking about General Mark Milley here. We're talking about using our military, which is treason. They're using our military to covertly
That's what I was getting at.
Move massive numbers of undocumented people around the interior of our country.
And keep in mind, these people weren't vetted. So chances are we got a few T people in there. Not Trump people either.
Speaking of which, did you see the footage coming out of Fox News today?
No, fuck Fox.
Of the illegals that were pushing, the hundreds of illegals that were pushing through the gate at the southern border?
I was at work. I didn't have a chance to watch it.
Well, I got a chance to watch it. I've never seen Mexicans that look so freaking dark to me. No. I grew up near the southern border. And
maybe they were closer to the equator.
No. These weren't Mexicans. These were not Mexicans, bro.
Maybe they were just, sunburned.
To the tune of charcoal, bro?
I couldn't help it.
To the tune of charcoal? Come on now. You know those weren't Mexicans coming through that border. So my question is, who were they?
But
Who were they? Where did they come from?
now why are they here?
Right.
Well, we know why they're here. They're here to destroy
And don't tell me
America.
that those were Mexicans, because those weren't Mexicans.
Look, if y'all didn't hear anything else in this crazy, half comical rant that we have done, listen to this. Food, ammo, gold, silver, get it. And if you can get some land out of the country, get that too. If that is all you hear,
It hasn't bought it out yet.
please hear that.
Look, people, bottom line is the land of milk and honey that our parents grew up in is gone.
Well, yeah, long gone.
And we are entering a very tumultuous, I won't say dark, because I don't want to be that guy. I'll say we're entering a very tumultuous time. And during tumultuous times, it is always good to be prepared for anything, because anything could happen. And probably will.
Yeah, and you know, I was watching something earlier, and this guy does a lot on the sun. He just does a lot on it. But he was saying maybe we're not going into a solar minimum because the sun's it's actually very active. It's twice as active as what it's been. He thinks there's a couple more years before that comes.
It's possible.
And I mean, look at Marfugel was talking about the solar activity. A couple other people. There was a big burst that came CME that came out of there. Luckily, the sun was facing the other way when it happened.
Well, the sun never goes dormant.
No, but it won't be shooting shit off like that. They're talking about a Carrington level event.
But again, you're helping to further my point from earlier. What is it that they're not telling the public? And I'll leave it at that. What is it they're not telling you?
Head scratchers. But guys, get prepared for anything. That's it. Just be prepared. Other than that, have a good night, guys.